received a referral from Turning Point to spend a day at the Perfect Fit. I didn't really know what to expect because I was told they were donated clothing, and I was thinking that it was probably going to be like a trip to the Goodwill. You know, maybe you'll see something good, but most of it's probably going to be crap, and, you know, but it's free, so whatever. When I did arrive there, I was pleasantly surprised. It was nothing like I envisioned. The staff and the volunteers, Heidi, these women were so friendly and inviting and welcoming that although I was in a shelter and although my children and I were dealing with the effects of post-traumatic stress from 10 years of violence and abuse, when I was there, none of that mattered. It was a wonderful day. So let me just back up a little bit and tell you how I became a client of Perfect Fit. Heidi mentioned that I was a candidate for district judge. And you're probably wondering, how do we go from a candidate for district judge on a primary ballot in May to being a Perfect Fit client again? Well, because I did not win the election, I fell 75 votes short. So that left me unemployed. I had to resign from my job in community action as an instructor for the Work Ready program in order to run. So my savings had dwindled over that 6 months, and I was back to nothing. I'm a single mom and I have children, and sometimes you have to do what you have to do. I was trying to find work and I was doing the best I can, but nothing was happening. So sadly, I had to go back to the county and ask for some help until I get on my feet. And by accepting their help, I'm sent to CareerLink, where I'm supposed to sit there all day to do what I was already doing at home, sending out resumes. But that's my way of earning a handout. While at CareerLink, I received another referral for the Perfect Fit. And when I showed up at Heidi's place, it was an emotional reunion because I had just seen her a few months before, and I was in a very different place, and I thought I would never be a client of the Perfect Fit again. Not because it's not a wonderful organization, but because I'm trying to change the situation in my life. My children and I came down to Allentown 6 years ago after escaping a decade of abuse by my ex-husband. He was abusive in every way. Emotionally, mentally, verbally, physically, financially. My children were witnesses to this. It was a part of their life. I wrote a speech, but I don't really like talking off paper, so every now and then if I lose my place, I might just glance down. But when we came down here, we had just left a domestic violence shelter in New York. We were for 2 months. We had family down here who invited us, and we stayed with my sister not too far from here off Cedar Crest for about 2 months before she decided she would have a happier life in Maryland. So she was going to put her house up for sale. I was 6 months pregnant at the time. My children were 6, 4, and 2, and we were about to be homeless again. Over the course of 15 months, we moved from one temporary location to another a total of 7 times before we got into a place. And one of those stops was the Turning Point shelter. And that's how I ended up connecting with Heidi. The clothing that I received from the Perfect Fit, was definitely, like I said, nothing like Goodwill. As a matter of fact, they outfitted me today. These women do an amazing job, not just at putting outfits together like professional stylists, but they have a sensitivity and compassion to deal with the women who come in there who are broken and hurting and at very low points in life. And they are encouraging, and they are kind, and they are loving. And when I was there the first time, back in 2010, while they were packing up this wonderful treasure for me, I was there 2 or 3 hours while they just fitted me with so many different types of beautiful outfits, clothing, shoes, accessories, coats, everything. So while they were packing that all up for me, I noticed there was a book on the table, and it said thank you, I believe. So I started flipping through it, and there were thank you letters in there from other clients. So I was like, great, I want to say thank you to these women because I just feel like I can't thank them enough. So I asked Heidi if she could find my letter from 2010. She did. So I just wanted to share that with you. And it was January 19, 2010. Today was the most fun I've had in a very long time. It felt different to have an experience that was just for and all about me. Everyone was so nice and helpful. I felt like I was on a reality makeover show. I'm so used to not having anything or getting anything for myself that I felt guilty for asking to see another pair of shoes or a casual top. But everything I wanted was okay. So at the end, I felt very happy and like it was okay for me to ask for and get something just for me to feel good and look pretty. Thank you so much to Perfect Fit, Sarah, Heidi, and everyone else there. You guys are doing a wonderful thing. God bless you. Sincerely, Tonya Trotter. So that was back in 2010. And here, fast forward 5 years, in 2015, I'm saying the same thing. These women are amazing. What this organization does, it's priceless. I went from that shelter to living in a hotel for about 2.5 months, and my children and I were about to live in our car before we finally got called for public housing. But the clothing that they gave me took me from my first job down here as working at the front desk at the 4 Point Sheraton Hotel. The clothes were so nice that the general manager said he was going to order uniforms, and he did, based on how I dressed. Yes. He did. The clothing took me from that first job at the front desk to being an enrichment program coordinator at a private school, to work for the Allentown School District as a site manager, summer camp director. All these clothes took me through, and I even wore them while I was campaigning. So these gifts that you give, they keep on giving. All right, so I would just like to encourage everyone. If you have stuff in your closet you're not wearing, it's in great condition, you know, it can really bless someone else. If you're able to give, we all know that nonprofits need financial support in order to do what they do. They're not in it for the money, they're in it for the love. So as you enjoy the rest of this afternoon, please considering being an ongoing supporter of Turning Point. It makes a difference in people's lives, people like me who are trying to improve the situations in their lives. And Heidi, I just want to thank you for having me, for being the amazing person that you are, for giving so much, so selflessly. I guess that's it. Thank you.